We are live on Team Fortress TV for Fully Charged EU. It's episode 6. I'm joined by CommanderX. We got Kaidus and Sonny Black. I am Admirable. And we're here with a reboot of an old series that I guess hasn't been around since the start of the season. But CommanderX, you've had a vision. Tell me about it.
Yeah, War messaged me today and said there wasn't enough tent and that Fully Charged should come back. So we're back. I brought kaidus with me from Pirate Radio. Greg unfortunately could not make it and also would have nothing to contribute even if he could make it. So we left Greg out. The plan is to kind of relaunch it, be a little bit more, a bit shorter, not as long, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You know, talk about all the gossip, talk about the games that happen, talk about all the stuff like that, you know? Add a little bit more content, keep everything flowing a little over, ticking over a little bit more, and just, you know, after cast. That's basically the vision, and I think the aim is to do it weekly. So we're going to start off this week by talking a little bit of playoff wrap-ups for Grand Final and all that, as well as the nominations for the season just gone. And then I think the next episode is to be in a week's time, next Thursday, as long as everyone can make it, and we'll be talking about revealing the awards, everyone's prize pixel trophies and all that. That's basically the plan.
It sounds good. I suppose we should recap what happened in the playoffs. What really stood out for me in retrospect is that nobody was able to overturn their seeding at the end of the season. AWS finished third and TLR finished second. Spoilers, sorry. But I mean, how did it end up to be like so stratified? Like, why could no team really turn it over? Is there too much of a skill gap there or something? I'd like to hear what Kaidus has to say.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say that because I mean we were really lucky to get first seed anyway. I mean, you would argue that if the teams, like if TLR had not messed up the first start of the season, like they dropped points to some bad teams by comparison, they would have taken first seed anyway. So really, we should have upsetted the seedings by beating TLR, but they beefed it at the start of the season. But if you, I mean, you might argue Dota shouldn't really have been in there in the first place. Or they at least shouldn't have had it so easy because IOGO were really, I felt like favourites for getting 4th seed up until they folded, like they lost Mike and then they folded. So, like I would argue that there was a team missing and really the 5th seed was bumped up to 4th seed. And as for Somniac, like you saw how that game went, like there's no two ways about it, they should have won. Like in terms of opportunities they had, like opportunities you'd consider like textbook to take a round. They really should have taken that match against TLR and shaken things up, but it just wasn't to be on the day. They didn't have the metal to hold themselves together.
Yeah, CommanderX, tell me a little bit more about the grand final because I haven't even managed to watch all the VODs yet. I think I'm halfway through the first one. I've seen the interviews, I've seen the end before I've seen the whole thing. But give me a bit of a recap there. Encourage people. Sell it to them, man. Give them the hard sell.
Well, it was really back and forth. Like, I was a little bit worried going into it with, like, the additions of Mike and Bite, and that it'd be, you know, a bit of a wipe, really. You know, that they couldn't really compete. But coming out of the gates, it was really back and forth. You know, both teams were making mistakes. TLR had their opportunities. They had their moments. There was a few low HP escapes. Merlin really played like out of his skin, really. It's the best I've seen any medic play in any form of TF2 for I don't know how long.
Since
like
I
year
left,
or something.
yeah, I understand.
So, yes, definitely what I was referencing. But yeah, no, it was great. It was really, since ads has already spoiled it for you, that might hinder how much you want to watch it. But it was really good. There was lots of back and forth, and it was a really good show of ETF12 and TF2. So I think you should go watch it. It was a lot of fun to cast. Lots of action happened. It went back and forth, as I've said about 7 times now. But yeah, go watch it. I don't know. I thought MIG deserved to win overall. I made too many mistakes, didn't capitalise on MIG's mistakes. Botched quite a few last pushes. I think MIG deserved it.
I said I only managed to see the very start of the cast, but I remember saying in Twitch chat, MIG in 2 maps or I'll cut my dick off. So, you know, I guess now's the time to live up to that one. And maybe later. But Kaidus, what were your thoughts on the grand final before we move on to Sonny Black?
I really felt like we should have saved your dick, to be honest. Like I was kind of surprised we lost Gully Wash. Like we kind of felt they would pick that or Snake Water, but we were pretty confident we'd take it anyway. Had some real like big mistakes, like not just like synergy type of mistakes, but like really bad like just like misunderstandings in the combo, like the kind of misunderstandings that lead to you getting wiped. And we had like 2 or 3 of those when really we were in a position to take a round off the back of what we were doing at the time. Like, yeah, me and Bite had some beef, as you would expect. But I don't know. It was a weird game. I never really come out of these kind of games with the best recollection of what actually happened.
What was going on with Ips? Ips was like team coach during that game. Was he in trying to hype you guys up and mumble?
He came in and stuff. I don't really remember what he said, but I guess it must have worked because he told us to stop losing after Gully Wash, and stop losing we did, so thanks, Ips. Love you, brother.
Yeah, the main event, I guess, and our main guest here tonight is, of course, Sonny Black, former ETF2L admin. He's now back as an ETF2L admin after he milked ESEA dry. How's it going, Sonny Black?
I'm good.
What are you doing with all that ESEA money?
Saving it up. I don't know. I bought a new phone from it, but so far.
I'm glad somebody had success out of that. But of course, you're here for the ETF2L Season 17 awards. You're going to release the nominations tonight, but tell us a little bit about the process, how you gathered the results.
Well, it's basically the same I'm doing after every season. I'm basically just asking everyone who played in Prem to submit their nominations for each award.
Every single player or every team?
Every single player.
How many games do you have to play? What if you murk a game in Prem? Do you get to have a vote?
I think I did it like you have to play at least 3 matches.
I'm making you sweat here, Sonny Black. I can hear the hesitation in your voice. I've got you on the ropes right now, man. But I'll put you out your misery. We've got a little bit of statistic analysis available. Gentleman John has this amazing system, the sort of back end for his statistics articles and stuff, and we've managed to get some aggregate stats. So Sonny's going to tell us nations. We can take a look at the stats and see if there's anything interesting there, but we'll gauge our reactions as well. Sonny, I don't know, pick an award. Take it away, man.
Then let's start with Demoman. And the 3 nominees are His, kaidus, and Exxon.
Exxon?
Yes, Exxon.
I said Exxon. Tech was better than him in the game that he murked. It even shows up in the stats. Okay, Heist and kaidus I can get behind. But Exxon, who's even better? I don't know. Rib?
I don't know, did we really do anything this season? Like anything of note? Like, I know his team finished 4th, but I don't remember any big plays, any moments, where Rib really stood out in any of these games.
Yeah, Rib was really anonymous this season, honestly. Like, Rib, since he came back, he's been my, like, go-to nomination for demo. But this season, he really wasn't really doing anything of note. I'm not really at all surprised by the Exxon nomination. I mean, he was always really hit and miss, but these kind of things, they often come down to the playoffs, and like you got to give him credit where it's due. To be honest, he did up in both games that he played, actually, like the semi-finals, if you remember Granary. I mean, TLR were just awful on these Granary mids, but for a demo jump in and kill the medic that many times, like, even though TLR were just, I'm not gonna lie, they were ghastly. It was embarrassing to watch at times, but he did reliably jump in and do these big plays like a lot, and he always tries to. And I wouldn't say he was amazing because he messes it up so much and puts his team in a really bad situation. But when the spotlight was on him in the playoffs, he did actually come through for them. So that's my view anyway.
He's sort of like expendable in their strategy. Like, I think they realised they can't tame Exxon, so they're just happy to let him do his own thing, and it was definitely very entertaining. But in terms of the stats, if I take a look at the Demoman stats here and I sort by my favorite stat, kills and assists per death, I tell you that Sickless is number 3. Where's the Sickless nomination, guys?
No one nominated Sickless.
No.
No one for Sickless.
I think Sickless played with crits probably more than... I don't know if there's anything on the stats about crits, but from watching Fenix, he played with crits an awful lot. So obviously you got to give the credit for using them well, but it is like a enormous advantage in your KAD using crits like that often.
You can see from the crits ratio stat, the only medic that used crits more than Skeege was Fun.
So popped them for everything he saw. So we got through a lot of crits with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sonny, what can you tell us about the voting? Though? Like, how were the votes spread out, or is it just literally you give us 3 names?
No, it's like basically like I don't know. Do you want the total votes or the percentages?
Tell me the percentages. How one-sided was it? You know.
Then his had 38% of the votes. Kaidus had 27.
Wow.
Exxon had 12. And that's followed by Rip and Mike with 8%.
So it was pretty close then between Exxon and the others then.
Yeah,
that's odd.
Like,
yeah,
there's one vote between Exxon and Rip and Mike.
I don't know if this is a good idea. Are we like colouring the votes? Are we giving it away for next week? Or influencing people too much here? I don't know. We'll roll with it anyway. Sorry, Black. Let's keep things moving along here. Tell me who's next on your hit list.
Medic, I guess. Like for Medic we have 4 nominees.
Oh.
Who are Merlin, Bull, Bite, and F2.
F2?
Yep.
Why 4?
Was it a tie?
Because there's a tie between Bite and F2.
You should have made them do a heavy fist fight. That's the easiest way to everything.
Heavy fist fight for your nomination.
Tell me
I don't know. Oh, sorry. Carry on, Az.
Tell me the votes, like percentages. How close was it? Or...
Merlin had 42%, Bull had 23%, Bite and F2 12%. And the next one following would be White Claw with 8%.
White Claw was in Div 1 though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I don't know. I'm surprised to see F2 in there.
He's just a popular guy. Like, if you look at the stats, man, he had the lowest drop ratio in the league, tied with Skeege. He doesn't drop it; he pops it.
I don't know. I find it hard.
The medic stats aren't too good.
I find it hard. I don't know. Like when his team finished 7th, well, basically bottom, the only team who finished below them because they folded. I don't know. Can you really say he was the 4th best medic in Prem this season because of that?
He wasn't. He was the joint 3rd best medic.
Joint 3rd best medic.
According to Prem players, this is just a nomination. Let's not get carried away. He's earned the right to, go in for the voting. Maybe people won't vote for him now that you're just like slating his reputation here live on air, CommanderX. Jesus, man, give the guy a chance.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Normally,
Kaidus,
the
zero
best
fucks given about this medic award. It's just like
I'm looking at the stats at the moment. I was impressed by Thun's ability to drop 9 Ubers in only half a season. That's the second most Ubers dropped, and he only played half as many games as most of these people. It's pretty impressive.
I'm looking at kills and assists per death for medic. I hit that sort button, and Nox is up top for playing medic for 1 map for Melee Moo.
Fucking hell.
Where's F2 on this
Why
list?
did I even put him in this list?
Where
F2
is second from last?
Just above Mitzi there. Merlin, I guess, is the real top because he actually played nearly 10 hours of TF2 this season. There's Koss in 3rd as well. Like, where's the nomination for the King of Squirrels?
I think
I think AOGO lost, I guess, a lot of credit because they folded. It's hard to reward anyone who folded.
They just forfeited their last game of the season. Did they actually drop
they didn't fold, but they defaulted their last game of the season, so they wouldn't have to play playoffs.
It's not folding though. If they folded, it would have changed the results. I'm not sure how the results would have changed, but you know what I mean. There's a difference. It's not.
I think we're splitting
okay.
hairs. I don't know.
I think the F2 nomination is complete crap, to be honest. Like, the only reason he might get it over Byte is because Byte only played a couple of games at the end, but like the way Lego played TF2 this season was nothing to be admired and nothing to be really given that much credit for at the end of the day. At least if you're going to compare individual players, like if you're going to compare team play and the way they organize themselves, that a lot of that might come down to F2, but it's not really medic play. Like, I can't say I watched many of Lego's games because they were honestly some of the most boring things I've seen in TF2 for a long time, but I remember our game, and F2 spent the majority of the time standing around a choke with a heavy next to him, and a sniper denying you entry to spam the heavy. And if you're going to play medic like this, then you're going to probably have a pretty easy time of it if you compare yourselves to, like, you know, the other medics who actually get themselves in deep and play aggressive TF2 with, like, risk and reward.
There was no, like, the season though, like they made waves with that result against you guys.
You mean 2 straight map losses?
Yeah, it was apparently close, you know, but then after that, it just seemed to be all downhill.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would give F2 credit for setting up his team in a way that allows them to get, you know, get close games against playoff teams when they finish bottom, but it's nothing really to do with good medic play. Like, it's like this whole fucking, pardon my language, it's like this whole conundrum we had with Nox versus Miralin in the old awards, where you give Nox all the credit for setting up his team and things like this, but that's not medic TF2. That's not a medic playing TF2. That's a player organizing his team, like mostly happening outside of game, if you know what I mean. And that's what F2 really did this season. It was nothing to do with medic skills.
We don't have like a caller award or a tactician award.
Yeah, no, a strange. I mean, but it's something that, you know, the public can't vote on that. They can't see who's calling or who's setting up what, who's doing that. I mean, I remember one F highlight where he did mirror in with Ubersaw, but like really there was no flashy, like really good medic play from F2 this season. It was just a good, like, you know, the background puppet master kind of thing.
The interesting thing here is like it's the prem players that have nominated him. It's not like you know, public remembering F2 fondly and trying to put him forward here. It's like the people that play to get with him and against him have stepped up and voted.
Well, maybe my view skewed because when I played against him, like I say, he was literally just behind a heavy for most of the game, and it's like, I mean, yeah, I feel like many medics could look more impressive if they sat behind a heavy.
Tell me how many medics on this list lost an eyebrow for their class, you know?
Let me check with Demoman John's
King
stats.
of Squirrels. This is like eyebrows dropped. Cost is up there at the top, man. Check that out. Sonny, let's go on to the next one.
Best pocket of the season, and it's Tech, Nox, Zebuzai, and Mike. It's
another 4
nominees again. Yeah.
Who's tied? Tell me who's tied.
Zebu and Mike.
Tied for first?
For third.
Okay.
If they were tied for first, there would still just be 3 nominees.
Maybe.
Not if all 4 of them were tied for first, kaidus.
Okay. My bad, guys.
God. I don't know. I'm surprised to see Mike. Low down. Yeah, go Sonny.
The percentages.
Yeah.
It's Tech with 37%, Nox with 26%, and Zabu and Mike with 11%.
That's strange. Is it because Mike only really played at the end of the season, so he technically pocketed against fewer teams? He maybe didn't stick in people's minds? I don't know. Am I clutching at straws here? Is Mike not the best soldier in the world?
No, I think that's the only reason that he wasn't at the top of the list, to be honest. But like I gave my nomination to Mike because he's just the best. Like, I don't care how many games he played the most important game. And
won it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if he played, you know, 2 games in the middle of the season and then that was it, it's a bit different to if you play in the grand final and
he played the whole
outplay your opposite.
Well, yeah,
well, no, we only played the final.
I think I'm looking at the stats now, and he played, what, 3 hours of pocket?
Yeah, like, we had a couple of games at the end of the season. He played the semi-finalist in our season match, and he played in the final, and those were arguably 2 really, really important. Well, one was obviously the final, the most important, and that game against Insomniac was really important as well, though we took 6 points. So, Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play the most important games, you should be in there if you're the best, and he was the best at the end of the day.
The stats back up everything Kaidus is saying. He had the highest damage, like 50 above not. He had the highest second highest KAD. Like, I don't know. All the stats back it up as well.
Yeah, and like if you use the Gentleman John as this rating, if you've read it in his articles, it sort of assigns values to various classes based on like wins. So there's some sort of mathematical background to it, but Mike's rating is like significantly higher than everyone else's. There's sort of a cluster feature in Technox and Zebo with about 20 points between each of them, and then Mike is like 70 points above them. Like he is, in terms of the stats at least, head and shoulders above everyone else. But I guess maybe no one from AO Girl voted for Mike.
Keep in mind also that he's not just doing these stats like with a team that he's played with all season in the last few games. He's literally come into a team with an entirely new combo. Like, in terms of the combo, it was only me left. We had a new medic and a new soldier at the same time with, like, you know, not much practice at the end of the day. Far less practice than I would have liked going into these sorts of games. And he just came in and did it up completely. Like, everything you could have asked of him, like, better than every other he came against. So that's another reason why it was impressive for me.
We're really eulogizing Mike here, so either the public are going to believe our bullshit and go and vote for Mike, or else they're just going to turn out in their droves to vote against Mike. It'll be interesting to see, but let's keep it moving, Sonny. Give us that next award.
Best roaming soldier of the season. It's only 3 nominees from now on. It's Gia, T-Mac, and Calho. With the percentages?
Go for it, man. I vote T-Mac.
Don't know. Gia is 56%, T-Mac 15%, and Calho 11%.
Was anyone else close? Were there any other nominees?
Next one, Shadowburn with 7%.
Okay.
Shadowburn's the people's champion, man. If he had actually made it into nominations, he would win hands down.
Catch me up quickly. I had to open the window.
So,
Roma nominations, and it was Gear, Calho, and T-Mac. Fourth place, but not nominated, was Shadowburn.
That's interesting. I mean, bollocks, but interesting.
I mean, I think Calho was, I guess, the most impressive in terms of, like you expect Gear to be good. Expect him to... He's been doing... Like, he does the same thing he's been doing all the last seasons. Same with T-Mac, you know what you're getting. Go in, big aggressive bombs. But Calho's the kind of player... I don't know if you looked at the TLR roster, Calho's kind of the one who stands out as potentially a weak link on paper. But he was... I know he was really strong. Played with a black box, really made it work.
Yeah, he sort of played a very... I don't know. He was very focused on survival. Like, if you looked at his stats in the lead up to the various playoff games, he had like incredible K death ratios because he didn't die very often, but like he didn't take many risks. Whereas I suppose it's a total stylistic thing, but that might, I don't know if you find that interesting to watch. But then you had like T-Mac at the other end of the spectrum, who was like just relentlessly going in and bombing and hitting big shots and dying and hoping that his team could work off that. But then you had Gear somewhere in the middle who seemed to stay alive quite often, but his timing is good. I suppose he's been doing it for a long time. I would give him the edge over Calho for sure, but that's my take on it anyway.
I found Calho the hardest to play against because of the way TLR set themselves up compared to Osomniac. Obviously, I played with Gear, so I don't know how hard he was to play against. Like, really, really frequently, like, you'd feel super comfortable in a fight, and then Calho just is in out of nowhere and just a 3k, like, not like a impressive 3k, like a DM one. He would just like...
Just a clean up one.
Yeah, like, he'd just show up. You didn't know he was even alive. He just shows up and cleans up because you've just forgotten he exists. But, like, I don't know. It's a real toss-up here. Like, T-Mac is, really skillful and high risk, high reward, but getting the rewards more often than not. Whereas Calho kind of lets his team make room for him to sneak in from somewhere. Like, I always remember our match on Process, in the regular season. Nox would jump super deep onto, like, our combo. Just as we thought we were getting, like, loose of him and going forward, Calho would just come in from behind and clean everyone up. And, I don't know, I guess it depends how you look at it.
It's always harder when the people nominated play a different style. Where you compare it to like Zebra Pockets, where Mike, Tech, Zebasai all play quite a similar role of just taking like quite a bit of a heal, was playing quite close to the medic, taking the Ubers in, getting damage out. It's a lot easier to compare. Whereas with Roma, there's a lot more different ways to play it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I don't know, it's like how you value a soldier, because if it was an MGE fight, I would expect T-Mac to come out on top there. If you're talking about frag moving material, T-Mac, Callow's the guy who hit that infamous triple air shot that was shown a million times on that Boneyard movie competition, or some of those movie competitions. But like Gear, he doesn't really sell himself. He doesn't promote himself. He doesn't have any frag movie.
Gear is a player.
What would the people vote for? You know,
Gear is just to say something about Gear. He is a player who is 10 times more impressive to play with than to play against. I don't think I've ever voted for Gear before, and obviously I'm biased this season, but you really, really can't appreciate how good Gear is unless you play with him. Like, what he does for a team is so like unheard of from a Roma. Like the way he could like practically main calling, honestly, at the start of the season, especially when we were getting to grips with the style of playing, because the style of playing was based on what Gear wanted to do more than anyone else, and it was it's something I've not ever seen from a Roma before, who's able to do that and kind of like just dictate how the team's going to play, and like just like being so in sync all the time with the rest of the team. Like it's just above and beyond anything I've seen from a Roma in this game before. But it doesn't come across like that when you watch a VOD.
The like Gear / Callow playstyle seems to be more effective because they tend to be on the field more of the time. Like T-Mac is literally dead more often, so like if there's an opportunity to come up, chances are he mightn't be there in time. He's the guy that's sort of dictating the pace for his team. He's going in all the time, but whilst that's impressive to watch and it's exciting, maybe it's just not the winning way to play Roamer. But will that be reflected in our votes? I don't know. Sonny Black, give me a new category.
Scout of the season. And the nominees are Kyler for Fun, Samzy, and Bash. With 37% for Kyler, and Sam and Bash tied with 19%.
Just know Sam is going to be shitting bricks right here. He's like, I was asking him earlier in Highlander, was he hyped? Was he going to win Sky of the season? He says no, it's going to be Kyler Circle Jerk, and even the Prem players are predicting or proving his prediction. Discuss.
I don't think Bash deserves it. I don't know. Like, I think Rake was better than Bash this season.
What? How can you even compare them? Like, why would you?
What? Rake and Bash?
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna single out a scout, like, are you? I don't know.
I could sell this one. You know, Rake probably played his best season ever, whereas Bash was sort of phoning it in a little bit. He wasn't as, obviously you guys won the league and whatever, and I'm just sort of trying to detract from his performance, but like he wasn't as impressive as in previous seasons. Maybe that was just the way the team was set up, but I could vote for Rake, sure.
Like, I don't think Bash did anything special this season. He kind of just, you know...
I don't think any scout was particularly special this season, though, so it doesn't... I'm not trying to just defend Bash here. I think I remember having conversations with people lately. Actually, I had this conversation with Rake about 12 times. Like, who was the best scout this season? He's like, no one. Everyone was shit. Or everyone was, like, average. And I kind of agree. Like, not agree that they were all bad, but like there was no standout scout this season, really. There was just several good ones.
Well, the king of the stats is Busy Derulo. Depends which stat you
damage. Yeah. So, the best scout in Europe is from America.
If you go for Gentleman Jones rating, Sam is up at the top. Kills and assists as well. He's up there at the top because he plays that pussy role. Cleaning up, beating out his team basically so he can be top of the stats. But he's only 8th in damage per minute, which is interesting.
I don't think anyone plays that role as well as Sam in Europe, though, in terms of that cleanup. Chaos probably has more of an insight playing with him, but I don't think anyone else plays it as well as him.
Well,
get this. Of the scouts that actually well, it's weird when you go by damage. Clockwork and Tavik are the top 2 scouts for damage per minute, but they both... Clockwork played 37 minutes and Tavik played 58. But then Bash is actually 3rd for DPM. Then you got GF18, Sheepy, and Rake. Does that mean anything? Is damage a scout or a stat worth looking at for scouts? Remember the game where Bevan had 50 frags and like 5k damage?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think damage really works as accurately for scouts.
But frags also like just nonsense as much as often as not though. Like another conversation I had with Rake where he said like so many like kills, like so many games he went like I don't know 27 and 13 say, but he could just as easily have gone 17 and 13 because 10 of his kills were just 3 HP shots across the map cleaning up someone. Like yeah, stats on
that's the team.
really
that's
dodgy.
The team in Team Fortress, man.
Yeah, but I mean like it, like you know what I mean though, like
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not anything to go on, but like
it's never going to be the full picture with scouts.
Yeah, like
about the
stats.
You can't just pick a stat and the same way you kind of say Pocket Soldier or Demoman, where if you drop big damage every game, it's always going to help your team.
Yeah, like when we were sorting out this scout merc for the finals, his jaw dropped when I told him Kyler probably wasn't the undisputed best scout of the season. His says to me, look, stats. The stats tell you he's the best. And I was just like, what are you on about, mate? Like, you really can't use stats to judge a scout. Like, you really, really can't, unless they're like Clockwork level, who literally will outdamage everyone else on the server.
And on the continent.
Especially when they're all so close.
Playing against Kyler?
Playing against Kyler?
Was he the scout that most annoyed you?
No. Bevan was the scout that most annoyed me. Like, Kyler's a weird scout. He's really super good. Like, he's really good, but I feel like he baits his team quite a lot. He's best when his soldiers go in and make things messy. Like, he's supposedly an aggro scout, but he's best when, like, his soldiers go in, like, Nox jumps in deep, make things messy, and then he can get in and kind of single out these players and just DM them, like, 1v1. Like, when you contrast that to other, like, aggressive scouts, like, classically aggressive scouts, like Woas, who will actually go in and just initiate things themselves, like, they'll flank and instantly come in behind. Kyler will always look for, like, people's backs to be turned before he goes, whereas, like, these other typical aggro scouts will flank you. Like, Kyler kind of just plays off his team, which is really effective, but if I was going to single out a scout with, like, a performance that really changed the game, like, Kyler's performances don't really change the game, they just seal the game based on what his teammates do, if you know what I mean.
Who would you single out then?
No idea. I agree with Rake, there was no best scout this season, there was just several good ones.
Do you think the final would have been different if Kyler was available?
It would have been a different game, sure, but it would have been the same result.
Okay.
This awards nomination show was brought to you by Made It in Germany, but Black, let's go on and look at the next one.
Next one is Offclass of the season, and the nominees are Flippy, Samzy, and Rake. With
Samzy?
64% for Flippy, 12% for Sam, and 8% for Rake.
Yeah, the stats don't really help us much here because you have to have played a certain amount of time to show up, and it's only really snipers that actually were available for the rating. And when you did that, Walters was head and shoulders. He only played 36 minutes of sniper during the season. Flippy played 2 hours of sniper across the season. Impressive. Then you had Hellberg and Rake, and that's how they were ranked by John's magical ranking thing. But
depends though, because
how much off-classing during the season did Sam do?
Not a whole lot, but when he did, it was really, really effective. Like, he was, other than the final where he hit that like really, really clutch headshot as they were pushing last on Granary, he was always the cheap faggot sniper who would just like pops out with a fully charged body shot on the med, but he did it so often and so consistently. Like, I think Byte this season said to Sam, you're the best body shot sniper in TF2, which pretty much sums it up. Like, but he was so reliable, honestly.
Games,
like,
man.
yeah, for real. Like, it's not like super flashy and super like, you know, showing off.
Movie moments.
Yeah, but he was always like, he says, I'm going sniper in spawn, tell me when they're on the point or whatever. Like, I'm ready to go because I know he's going to get him like every time. I was always just ready to go in. Like, he gets him like every time.
Is it worth talking about, you know, because it's off class for the seasons, even though like Sniper's the dominant one, I guess the most memorable one, Is it
Flippy's
worth
like
taking into account?
the genuine
Yeah.
off-classer, isn't he? He plays Spy, he plays NG, he plays Heavy, he plays Pyro, he does it all. I don't have the stats to back that up, but he's just synonymous as an off-classer, and he is like one of the most impressive snipers. He's very exciting to watch. Even Demul, like so many people off-class this season at various times that I can remember in CAS, but I'm not really sure who had the biggest impact. Maybe Sam, like you say, but it just wasn't exciting. What are people going to vote for?
It's the same thing we talked about on Roma. Are we going to talk about the person who was maybe more effective, or the person who got the best moments? You don't know which way everyone's going to vote when there's so many people who are going to vote.
I think Flippy was the only sniper this season who could play sniper as much as he did and have it work. Like, I mean, Sam was super effective. He always chose his moments really carefully, though, and when it really mattered and when you needed this pick. Whereas Flippy is enough that he could just go sniper for 2 hours in the season and actually be effective on it, like sniping on Viaduct mids. I'm not sure if Dota did that at all, but other than Dota, I don't think there's a team that could have done it other than Osomniac with Flippy. And actually like reliably hit these shots that makes it justify having a sniper there. But yeah, it's like you say, it depends how you want to measure it.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because like they built their whole Viaduct strategy around the fact that he could off-class, but most of the other times off-classing is just sort of opportunistic, and maybe unless you're talking about last defenses or whatever, but yeah, Flippy, impact player perhaps. But let's keep it moving. I don't think we can get blood out of this stone off-class this season. Worst award, please, Sonny Black, give me a new one.
Do you want best Prem debut or best player?
You're the man, Sonny.
Do the
Call
debut.
the shots, bro.
It's best Prem debut then. The nominees are GF18, Demul, and Zen. Or Zen. With 48% for GF18, 26% for Demul, and 4% for Zen. 15% actually.
Was anyone close? Was there anyone out like maybe
No.
Hellberg or anything close? No?
The next
Okay.
closest things are 4%.
Who are they?
Okay.
Dr. Phil and Hawku.
Hawku.
Yeah, okay.
That's a
Moving
circle
on.
jerk vote. That's... Someone give me the stats on how much Hawku played in this season.
Wow.
Uh,
GF18 wins.
18, yeah.
He wins.
GF18 was really good. Considering if you look at
Who else was in there, sorry?
GF18, Demul, and Zen.
Demul did well, like GF18 always had hype, but like Demul came in as someone who I was pretty much unaware of. I knew he was part of the French circle jerk, but like he mightn't have been outstanding, but he helped his team reach 3rd place in the playoffs. And he had a sick game as demo in the... Or he was decent enough as demo in the Zowie Cup as well. Sure, this is the ETF 12 Awards, okay. But I don't know what my point is. GF18 is going to win, you're right.
I think Demul really did well, you know, considering like in the playoffs he didn't look out of place, like he maybe didn't drop the big damage, like, or get as many frags as Flippy or whatever, but he definitely didn't look out of place amongst, you know, all the other best scouts in this season.
Yeah, Demol did a good job, but like, I don't know. He looked like almost not quite a weak link, but kind of a weak link. Whereas GF18, it's different because obviously GF18 is playing in a team that were never really in contention for playoffs. But GF18 was like star player, whereas Demol was like not quite a weak link, but if you were going to classify him as one or the other, you'd say weak link. But obviously his team did better.
The weakest player on the roster, even
yeah.
if it's not necessarily a weak link.
Yeah, it's another one that's hard to look at. Zen though, Zen was disappointing for me.
I think he's really see Zen in another team.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think Zen could be really good, but I think he's just in the wrong team for what he's good at.
I'm looking at the stats here. I think I've managed to pick the 3 of them out. Going by Gentleman John's magical rating, TF18 had 133 of his rating points. Zen had 88, and Demul had 76. So that's what the stats say. That's presented by Gentleman John. But put me out of my misery, Sonny Black. Tell me about the last award.
There's 2. There's Best Player and Caster, but Caster doesn't really have Like I just took everyone who casted at least 3 matches from season 17. But yeah, next one would be best player with Nox with 35%, Mike with 30%, and Tech with 9%.
Isn't that just for Pocket Award -7?
So Mike can barely get into the Pocket vote, but
he may not be the
he's
best
comfortably
Pocket,
in for the best player. Holy smokes. Mike wins! Or Tech wins, or not wins, I don't know. I didn't vote on this one. I didn't nominate, I had no idea.
The thing I like about the Nox story is that it's such an impact on TLR's campaign. Like, it was really night and day with Nox in there.
Is it best player or is it MVP? Because I think there's a difference.
This is different. Yeah, because I think
Best
we've had
player.
Yeah.
I would say Nox was MVP, but I don't think he was the best player by a mile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he made, especially in the grand final, I don't know, I remember a few notable, not like huge mistakes, but a few times he'd go like, just go full out for bite at the end of an Uber when he really didn't have to, or his team would be even better if he just stayed with his team. But you compare now, TLR's start of the season without Nox to TLR's season from that with Nox, it's like you said, night and day.
Like in the context of his team, he was the MVP, but like if you're just going to look out and out who was the best individual player this season, then I will say it's not Nox, but I don't know who it is, honestly.
If we use Gentleman John's ranking system, do you want to know who the nominations would be?
Oh, he's in third, look at that.
It would be Mike, Kaidus, and Sickless.
Bullshit.
Yeah, man.
What a joke.
You're only 3 rating points better than Kaidus, so I wouldn't.
Well, it's a joke. It's a joke that I'm there, and it's a joke that Sickless is there. Like, that's what I mean. Like, these stats are just nonsense.
If I had included Tech on his Demoman performance, he probably would have been #1 for that one game or 2 maps.
One huge game, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I guess the hardest thing out with all these awards is figuring out how people are going to vote, because obviously it's the entire E2FL community and TF2 community voting. It's not just, the Prem players or a select group of people or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for the majority of voters, it's just going to be like their impression of how the season went. Is like so often it ends up being like who played well in the grand finals, because that's the last game people can remember. But the story of Nox is definitely an interesting one, like the way he came back and like turned their fortunes around. And he did have some good games, like he totally outplayed Tech. I remember that granary game against the Insomniacs, and like it was obviously the combos, like it was Bull and Tech sucking out against Merlin and Nox, but like he was just in control the whole way. And I suppose, of course, the big game midway through the season was TLR turning over Made in Germany, and that was like the Nox debut. Like, he's going to be able to ride on the fumes of that one for a long time, maybe even so much as to become player this season. Like, the Prem players seem to think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
I just realised Kaidus had disappeared.
Yeah. Sonny, what's the when are the nominations themselves all going to go live?
I set up the polls during the stream, basically. I'm just going to write a quick news post and put them live.
So live tonight?
Yeah, British time, maybe. It's in 10 minutes. For me, at least.
Who are you voting for, Sonny Black? Go ahead. Tell us who you would vote for each category. Maybe not. I know whenever it's like an actual election in real life, people guard that sort of information very closely. But Sonny, if you want to open up and let people know you're not just a German robot admin, who would you vote for player of the season? Who's your heart lie with?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Nox or Mike.
There's no Germans. You're so confused. You're like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah, but Mike played for Made in Germany at least.
Okay, he's going through like the family trees of all the nominees, looking for some German heritage or some German relatives down the line to justify his vote.
He's like the spiritual successor to Ips, I guess. That could be swinging things. I know next, didn't you tell me, Sonny, I'm going to put you in the spot right now, but Next week, whenever we do the award results, you're also going to be making a few ETF2L announcements about what's happening in Season 18.
Yeah, like I think tomorrow, we will have a meeting for Season 18 to decide on maps and unlocks.
Are you going to give us the exclusive, man? Are you going to let us announce it live on air? Live?
I can't promise it. Like, obviously,
if
the
decision is
information
made.
Yeah, the information should go out as soon as possible. But like, when is the season starting? I think signups are starting pretty soon already.
I don't know. You're the admin. You tell us.
Well, let's
Signups
let's
close
get
in 2 weeks. I know
we get
this because
Permzilla
I've
in next
complained
week
already.
as well. Do you think you could get us Permzilla as well, Sonny? We could have like 2 ETF2L admins next week, and over the course of this week, you can announce it, your Season 18 stuff, but we'll get people to tweet us at teamfortress.tv. I don't know, use the hashtag FCEU or something. But tweet us your questions, or if you have complaints about the ETF2L Season 18 announcements, or you want to praise them, you can tweet us, and we'll bring it up next week when we have some admins live on the air. That would be interesting. Maybe Permzilla can give us a bit more. You know, Sonny Black, you don't let much slip past. But finally, I think... Oh, go.
I could give you like what the trend is, but like, I cannot say if the current trend will be going through in tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah.
Are you going to give us gossip, man? Go for it.
Give us. Shoot.
I knew you were the ETF2L leak all along, Sonny Black.
Like, most people don't seem to like Metalworks.
Oh,
They say
really?
it's so much.
Really top inside info.
Don't lay all your cards on the table, Sonny B.
Will we see a new custom map? Yay or nay?
Custom map?
Like something we've not played before in the season. Something completely different.
Sunshine?
Probably not.
Coal plant?
Probably not. Which overpowered unlocks are you going to add? Ridiculous one you've seen and you're like, what are these guys talking about?
There won't be overpowered
Natasha.
unlocks.
Fuck Natasha.
I've actually been talking to the admins because when they message people and ask for their input on what unlocks, I said the cloak and dagger should be added. And I've had like 3 admins message me and call me a retard so far. I think the cloak and dagger is sick, man. I think it's the best. It makes
Is it
Spy
just
so
because
much
you
more interesting.
can't play Spy without it?
I'm not. What point am I going to be playing Spy
I don't know.
next season? I just think Cloak and Dagger makes Spy like way more versatile. Like it's way more. You can do way more like synced up plays with a Spy, with Cloak and Dagger. Like Spy is so nerfed in competitive play, like 6v6, just because it's so bloody obvious when you have a Spy. But giving them like the advantage of actually being able to use a cloak for longer and playing it slower. I just think it's way better. But they all call me an idiot, so it won't happen.
EU TF2 has mellowed out so much when we're talking about allowing the cloak and dagger. What the hell?
It's so sick.
Let's save all that unlock debate for next week. I want to hear some of the latest gossip. What's happened to all these teams that finished Season 17? What is going on? Kaidus, CommanderX, fill me in.
No idea.
I guess.
Made in Germany. Are you going to be there next season?
Don't think so.
I guess the biggest news is a combination of Epsilon reforming and Kaidus trying to make a team full of whoever's left.
Huh?
You're not making a team, Jason?
Did you say something? Yeah, I am. That's me.
Yeah. Well, I think most people know about the Epsilon reform. You know, it's going to be a combination of, I think, Raymond on Medic, Nox Pocket, Mike Roma, Bash. I think Stefan. Is Stefan still 50-50 or is he confirmed with an idea? There
is about like 10 mysteries still remaining in Epsilon, even for the current Epsilon players, I think. I think they have like, I'm going to say they have at least 3 players sitting on the sidelines waiting for the call up if they're even remotely unsatisfied with their first draft. Like they have the roster that you said pretty much, apart from Stefan being 50-50. But then for pretty much every class, apart from actually, yeah, pretty much every class they have like a backup plan in case they're not happy.
I've heard, I think Shintaz mentioned it to me the other day, he's been contacted.
Yeah, they asked Shintaz.
Wait.
They asked Cookie.
Shintaz said not to name him. He said, quote me as an anonymous but reliable source. But we've already blown it.
Well, he didn't say that to me. He mentioned it to me just in the open speech.
Yeah, I heard it on the grapevine.
This is Shintaz's exact words. Sigh. Bit of gossip got offered for Epsi again. Roll eyes. It's hard being the best. It seems they're very desperate now. Like, not saying that cause they offered me, of course, I'm the best. But Stefan is showing zero interest. Quote me as an anonymous but reliable source. Okay, Shintaz.
Wow.
Excellent work, everybody.
You can always trust me. I'm a reputable journalist. What else can we say? Do we know anything about any of the other teams? Is it going to be Epsilon versus Division 1 next season? That's what I want to know.
Maybe.
And what's happening with Die 52? Like, somebody mentioned, was it Kaneko in a thread I read at ETF2L last week, that this time last year they'd already started the fundraising.
Yeah,
is Die 52 going to happen?
They really need to get that going. I was watching Shade stream last night, and Banny remarked that they're like, he quite like blankly said they're not going to go.
Oh.
And they're like the standout, like they're the Epsilon of the NA scene at the moment. Like they 5-0'd their nearest competition in the only match they've played. So if any team is worth paying for to go, it's them. And he said quite blankly, we probably won't going to go to I-52. And I don't think it's because I don't want to. I just think it's because it's freaking May
logistics,
almost, and there's like nothing about it. And I commented on this thread the other day, and I got a lot of aggro from some Epsi players. I said, I really hope that someone in Epsilon checked an American team was actually planning on going before they made, a dream team to crush Americans. Because at the moment, it looks like all they're going to be doing is crushing Division 1, like I'd said. So if I think they should probably rally the masses and get it going if it's going to happen. Otherwise,
what
it
is
won't happen.
the main problem in the European scene then? Is it a lack of leaders or just a lack of players?
It's not a lack of leaders, and it's not a lack of players. It's different ideologies about how to play. Like, I'm trying to make a team at the moment, and my biggest problem is a pocket soldier. And with all due respect to him and his current team, Zebasai is really the only person that I would say is a pocket that can compete with what Epsilon have. But he's loyal to a team that, by all odds, are never going to be on that level as a team.
Like he's playing medic next season, right?
Wait,
no. He's playing pocket next season. Knutson is medic, Lasser is roam, Hairpy and Beaver alternating scout with Wowas staying on scout. And for me, that team is never going to compete with Epsi. Like, depending on what other teams crop up, they might take second, but they're never going to compete with Epsilon. But Zebo is the only pocket, with Ips gone for his own reasons. Zebo is the only pocket in the game that can really compete on a level with Nox, Mike, and Tech. All three players of whom are currently tied up in an Epsilon concept. Tech on the sidelines in case they're dissatisfied with Raymond on medic. The theory is that Raymond could be ditched with Nox going to medic, Tech on pocket, and Mike roam. At least so I've heard. So you have three pockets in this game, and they're all in one team. Like, you have three pockets that can compete on that level. They're all in one fucking team. Apart from Zebo, but he's loyal to these Scandies, who are never going to compete with Epsilon. So, what can you do? Ips is the only other one, and he has like legit reasons to not be around anymore. So,
someone writes in chat, #captain.
I got a question for Sonny Black here from Atmo, who tweeted me to say, ask Sonny B why I'm the best player in ETF2L history.
He's not. I don't know.
That's the first time I've heard you laugh all evening, Sonny Black. Thank you for that emotion. Veethoofd also says, Admirable, if you're talking competitive TF2, don't forget to look at whitelist.tf and tf2pickup.net. So yeah, plug that. Any final shout-outs before we wrap this up? I'm trying to keep it under an hour. No? Just cut it like that.
I think we've covered
leave
all the major
silent.
gossip.
Didn't talk about my sick team. Just kidding.
Huh? I thought you were talking about your
drop some
sick
names,
team.
Kaidus. Drop
Please.
some names. I heard Stark, Talash.
No.
To both?
Not Thalash, no, Stark, yeah. Well, at the moment, it's me, Stark, and some others. No, there's not really much to say at the moment. I was mostly joking. There's a roster on EF2F2L. That's like everything that's done so
wait
far.
at the call up.
Yeah. Do you want
the greatest chemistry.
You want to come back to pocket? Like I said, like there's no one. There's fucking not a single pocket.
Can you not convince Dark to pocket?
No, Stuck has no interest in pocketing, and I think he and I would clash on pocket anyway. But like, I'm not joking. There is no pockets in this game left. There are none. It's the main hindrance for anyone trying to make a team at the moment.
What's in your describe your ideal pocket here? You know, put out your classified ad here. You're looking for a
it's Zebasai or it's sense of humor, and there is no one else that's even on that level outside of Epsi. Like a player with a brain that can shoot things. That's the thing. Like, it's not even like there's like a half measure of one with just really like, you know, decent aim but can actually play the game at a top prem level. There is no pocket that can play like has a top prem mindset or like knowledge of the game.
What about? Let me throw out a few names here. I'm thinking of past playoff soldiers of the last 2 seasons. Rising almost made it.
Well, Rising is my backup at the moment.
Clar
is not the right mindset for my taste.
Forsaken
is not the right mindset for my taste. Not even probably on that level.
He's tied. Well.
Plus, he's in a team, and I don't think Miralin likes him, who is my medic. So
let me throw this one out. And this guy is LAN proven. He's played soldier at LAN. He may have even won a few. And he plays a lot of classes, but he goes by the name of Bite. Bite on pocket. Think about it.
Bite's not playing next season.
No?
No, Bite only played at the end of this season because he wanted to, he just was helping us out basically. He had no desire to play a full season. Like, he was playing with friends in Div 4 and he was happy to do so. Or Div 3, sorry. But he doesn't want to play a full season. Plus, like, just no. Just no.
Are there any rising talents around anymore? Is there any, like, MGE heroes?
I think Captain looks super good, honestly. Like, I haven't seen him play a full game, but he looks pretty good. But he's in a team that he's pretty loyal to, and I don't know anything other than what I see in frag videos. But like,
everyone looks good in frag videos.
Well, no, but I mean, he looks better than other people look in frag videos. But he looks good. Like, he looks like he might be good in the future. But if I was making a team looking at going to I-52, I don't think a pocket fresh out of Div 2 probably will manage. Like, I don't know, I'll give a bloody try. Captain, if you want to play, call me. We'll try it. Pretty sure he's happy in his current team. But like, that's literally where it's at. It's literally you're at the point where you have to look into Div 2. Like, Natural is another decent one, but he's loyal. Like, he's like Zebo. He's not as good as Zebo, but he's the same story. He just wants to play for fun with his, like, you know,
nationality.
With his national friends. His
friends.
How do you even say that? With his countrymen. That's the word I'm looking for. His countrymen.
His national friends.
QNX, his fellow Norwegian.
Isn't QNX still in that Solar Div 2 thing?
And K3 says Captain Hanks.
QNX is another that looked like, you know, he looks super good. I don't know anything about QNX, but I think he's just, you know, he's in it for the fun. The mindset just isn't there. Like, Epsi kind of, they soak up 90% of the people with the right mindset to do this.
Captain Hanks?
Captain Hanks is cool, but like, he and I don't get along in game particularly. I remember using him as a merc when I took the reins of BFF a year ago. I used him as a merc almost every day because whoever was our pocket, Hawks maybe, was never around, and it's a combo made in hell.
He's also incredibly hairy, but let's wrap it up on that. We are just at the hour mark right now, I think, looking at my clock. Final shout-outs. Speak or forever hold your peace. Shout out to Black Eyed John.
And Sam and Hasenpfote.
Lovely.
And
so,
the polls
keep
are
going,
live
Sonny.
now. Oh, the
this
polls
is the
are
most
live.
you've said all day.
That's it?
Yeah.
Can't get him to shut up once we say it's the end.
Yeah. So, keep watching Highlander Season 6. It's amazing. Stagged are going to win. Trust me. And that's it. This time next week, another show. Thank you. Good night.